All right, this is going to be a little bit of a longer video than I would normally record, but I'm going to show you something that my youngest son calls teeny tiny town. And it just kind of happened. It's an organic thing. It just kind of grew on its own. I'm just going to pan around here a little bit. This is just the beginning of it. You can see a tiny home over there, and I'll take a little closer, and then there's a cabin over there and a couple of parking spots here. And before I go on the tour, I believe in something called create your own waterfront. And I don't know how many ponds I've dug over the years, but it would be many of them. And if you have the right underground aquifer and the right soil conditions, you can create these beautiful ponds. They serve as a habitat for fish and turtles, and of course the deer come and drink here, and the birds too. So it's really quite something, and it's create your own waterfront. In this case, this area here, this whole area here, is an old sand pit. And so if you remember when you were a kid, I'll just pan one more time, I hope you're not getting seasick. Remember when you were a kid, you went to the beach with your little shovel and your pail, and you dug down a few inches or maybe a foot. You hit water. Well, that's what you have here. So you have underground springs that feed these ponds, and we put largemouth bass in here, and they keep the ponds nice and clean, and they eat mosquitoes, which is a good thing. All right, so this was a kind of a leftover block in a subdivision that I created many years ago, and again, I'm going to walk around. I hope I don't make you seasick. And it was just a leftover piece of land. I wasn't really sure what to do with it, and you'll see in a minute over there behind that tree. There's my old hunting and fishing cabin. But I'm going to just pan around here, and you'll see a little workshop that we added. So here's a small building. It's about 160 square feet. And it's used as a workshop. You can kind of see there's a person door there, a window, and an overhead door as well. So it's pretty cool. And lots of entrepreneurs use these small workshops to do all kinds of things. I won't go in because this one is being used by a young woman who has her own clothing design and fabrication business in this really tiny space. And we're just going to walk around here a little bit. And I'll take you over to the old hunting cabin. And believe it or not, whoops, excuse me, I just about fell in a hole there. This hunting cabin here was, less than 200 square feet, about 197 square feet, I think, in total. And we converted that to a small house. And it's got all kinds of things in here. A little bit of an outdoor kitchen happening there. And, so the young woman who has her workshop that I just showed you, she actually lives in this thing, this little cabin, and it has everything in it. It has air conditioning, heat obviously, and air conditioning. It has its own electric meter there. You can see up there, that's where I guess the gas outlet is, because it has natural gas service as well. And we're just going to come around here a little bit more. And you'll see here in a second, you'll see a little bit of garbage, but, she has, windows overlooking the pond, and it's quite beautiful, actually. Now let's pan around again, and we'll just go over here, and you'll see another tiny house over here. And you can see it's got a propane tank there on the lower right of my screen. And this one's called Trail House. And believe it or not, you could actually sleep 4 people in this thing. It's not very big. I think it's 180 square feet. But it has a sleeping platform at grade and then one up in the loft. And the sleeping platform at grade kind of rotates 90 degrees and becomes sort of a dining table, a work table. And this particular individual is a work from home person. He's a tech guy. And he also overlooks this pond here. All right, so now we're going to walk over. This is already 4 minutes long, and as I warned you, we're going to see teeny tiny town. And like I said, this was a leftover piece of land with not much happening, and just the old hunting cabin. And we just added a few things to make it a little bit more useful and more affordable for folks. Something else I've done here over the last, it's got to be 30 years now, is I planted an awful lot of white pines. White pines tend to like sand and sandy areas. So we planted about 3,500 trees, white pines. And you know, there's probably nothing that you could do to add value to your property faster, well, maybe not faster, but more than planting trees. And of course, these trees, when they were planted, were, you know, saplings, so they were, you know, maybe not even 12 inches high, you know, maybe 25 centimeters. And there you go. Okay, so we're walking along the road. So all the roads and services were put in by me, again, a generation ago. And I think you can probably see there's a community mailbox there. And what you're going to see in a minute as we turn the corner here is something we call the Barndominium. It's an old barn. It actually existed on another property about 12 or 13 kilometers away. And the developer, his name was John Glenn, was going to knock it down and trash it. And I offered to bring a crew down and disassemble it and reassemble it. So that's what we did. And it's been here for, oh gosh, at least 25 years. And we really like the old barn. It's kind of an Amish style barn. And it's been used as a playpen for my 5 kids at one time. You know, we had parties in here and it was really fun. But you know, kids have a nasty habit of growing up. And when they do, you know, it was empty for quite a few years. So we weren't sure what to do with it. And we decided to, what we would do with it is we turned it into some workshops. And you can see Fanon cabinetry is there. Fanon means something in Arabic. I've forgotten exactly what. And the gentleman who runs that is fantastic craftsperson, and he makes kitchen cabinets and does commercial work as well. Does, for example, cabinetry in pharmacies, etc. And there's, I think, 7 workshops in there. So, and I think he has like half of them or more. Now we're just going to swing around here a little bit, and you can see over here in a bush, there's another one of these little tiny homes. And again, they're all inhabited, so I'm not going to barge in and talk to these people. Now, I tend to name things. This particular version is called Woodland Studio. You should see the name there in a second. And again, it has propane, obviously power, and septic and water, and all these good things. And it's quite an interesting space. I'll back out here a little bit. It's got windows on the other side, and obviously it's got a loft as well. So it's kind of cool. And a little bit of an outdoor area here where he can park and hang out here. My wife told me something interesting. The reason that these tiny homes sometimes appeal to men is, and of course women too, but especially men, is because everything is done for them, right? It's got all the furniture and you know, cooking equipment, everything you would want. And so the fellows don't really have to think too much about what they're going to do. All right, so let's go and have a look inside the Barndominium, and you're going to see it's pretty crowded, and you know, it's a busy spot. Hopefully I remember the code so we can get in. And over here on the left, let's see if I can pan in a little bit. And that's obviously our ride on mower, but you can just sort of see those green hatches there. That's our septic system, or at least the settlement tanks for the septic system. It's a pretty big system. All right, so there's the person door, and then we have an overhead door, and this was really dumb. I expected that overhead door. I spec'd it as 10 foot wide and 12 foot high, and when it came out here, it's really the size of an ordinary garage door. I don't know how that happened, but sometimes we screw things up, right? Unfortunately. And here's the code, where you put the code in. I'll do that without showing you. Yay, I remembered it. Oh, I forgot. Here is one of our employees. You can see this cat. He's a twin. And rather than using mouse bait to control the mouse population, we have 2 barn cats, 2 brothers that live here. And they do a great job keeping the place neat and tidy. Oh, here we go. Ovid, I'm doing a video. Okay. And you're in it. And
what are we doing?
Well, I'm just doing this for teaching purposes.
Okay. Cool.
And I have forgotten. I apologize. You've told me at least 3 times. What does Fanon stand for?
It stands for like artistry.
Artistry. Yeah. And so, I'll hang on a second. I'm gonna pan around here. There we go. See, it's on a timer. And since I got you here, I didn't know you would be here. But Ovid is like typical entrepreneur. He works like all the time, like me.
Yeah, pretty much.
And just because I got you here, and this is a teaching video of it, tell us a little bit about Fan and how long ago did you start it?
So I've been in the industry for many years, but I've officially started here, I think like 2022, summer 2022. So it's been about 3 years.
About 3
now.
years, yeah.
Yeah. So we've definitely crossed the 3-year mark. So right now we are just at a stage now where we are established. So right now we're just focused on that scale.
So I remember we talked actually yesterday about the growth trajectory and what a challenge. But one of the things that Ovid is doing, and I'm trying to do more of it, I'm sure millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of people are, is to integrate AI into admin processes, sales processes, running your CRM. And I don't know if you saw, but I sent you an email about an hour ago about browsers that are coming out that actually have AI integrated into them so that you can do a lot of work right from your browser.
That's crazy.
It's on your email when you have a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just going to go finish my video here, and I'll come back and see you.
Yeah, absolutely. No
All right. So, there's our unpaid worker. Maybe that's the second one. So we've got obviously heating in here, but no air conditioning. And if you look at what we did here, I'm just going to pan up. It's got about a 29-foot ceiling height here, and used to have skylights, but they leaked, so I had to seal them up. And you'll notice that it has this spray foam all throughout the barn. And you can see up there is the loft, and this was part of the original design. There's a loft up there. And Ovid is using that, and you can sort of see some of the workshops down here as well. But I'm going to talk about the spray foam just for another minute. I was told when we were reassembling the barn here in this subdivision that you couldn't put spray foam on the barn board, and you'd have to do all kinds of manipulations, very expensive renovations to insulate this. But we just tried it anyway. So this is about 30 years ago. We spray foamed it. We have an R12 insulation factor, which is not all that high, but it's not bad. And it's been perfect. It sealed the building. It doesn't leak, or at least mostly doesn't leak. And it's quite cool today. I mean, the outside temperature is about 31 degrees Celsius, so close to, I think, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's cool in here, and in the winter it's nice and warm. So Ovid is taking up at least half of the space, if not more. And then there's a couple of small workshops here, and through that door, there's a gentleman who makes handmade guitars out of cigar boxes, if you can believe it. And then here's a gentleman who recycles furniture. So let's look over here. Like I said, this is a water osmosis, a reverse osmosis system. It's like a manufacturing plant, and the water here is great, but it's very expensive. And then we have a small kitchen here, not much of a kitchen really, but at least you have a sink here, and we have a little fridge and microwave, so you can do something. Let's see what else we got in here. So this is a utility cupboard, obviously hot water tank, electric, maybe it's gas fired, I don't remember. And utility sink, and there's your pump system here. It's quite extensive to produce the power that we need to run this place, and also the water and other services. It's all based out of the barn, or mostly out of the barn. Now I'm gonna just go in here. We added a WC water closet, aka bathroom, and you can sort of see it's got pretty much everything in it. It's quite nice actually. It's got a full shower, got a little cupboard there, and shower here. I guess I can hope there's nobody naked back here. And so if people need to shower before they go home, they can. And there you go. So that's kind of the WC. Now we'll just move over here. And we did put a washer and dryer in here, so that folks who live in the area can or work in the area can come and obviously wash their clothes. And I'm going to take you through Ovid's workshop. He can do amazing stuff in here. I mean, he's just fantastic work. And look at this. It's an old barn, and he's got all kinds of computer-controlled machinery here. As we talked about with Ovid a minute ago, he's doing a lot with AI. And I think that's really important for pretty much anybody now. This is where he started. This was his original workshop, which is about 800, maybe 1,000 square feet. He's got a lot of tools here, and you can see other things that he's done here. And I've got to have the clipboard and all the other things that you need to run a business these days. Some kind of air compressor or blower. We got some heat here too. I don't remember if that's gas fired. I guess it probably is gas fired over there. That's an air filtration system, and it has another overhead door here. And let's just go back out this way. You can see we put some ramps in. I don't know why we have a difference in elevation, but the slab we put in here, like I said, 30 years ago, has been fantastic. We raised the barn by about 12 inches over what the spec was, the engineering spec. It was just to make sure that we never had any issues with water infiltration, and our sump pump has never even turned on once in 30 years. So whatever you're doing when you're building, whether it's a house or some kind of building like this in the rural area, one of the things you want to do, if you can, is raise the elevation a little bit, and especially now, and when we seem to be getting more intense rainfall, higher water levels, then it's really important to make sure your building doesn't flood. Another person door here. That's our electrical system down there, and then we're going to go upstairs into the loft. And we're about halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway through the tour, so hang with me for a few more minutes. So this is where Ovid does his spray booth, and he exhausts it to the outside, so he can paint whatever he needs to paint in here. And you can see there's going to be some kind of a showroom up here, an office. We actually have a window rattler of an air conditioner. I guess I can close in a little bit there so you can see that. And those used to be windows, but Ovid took them out. I guess he had to. And he's got a little microwave there as well, so a desk. And he's changing things as he goes. Now this is kind of interesting. Took the wall down here so he can use that forklift to bring materials up here so he can spray paint it. And this is a safety gate, and you can sort of see it has a latch there so it can open. I think it swings open, and he can lift things up here and remove them down there. So we'll get a pretty good view now of of the whole space. Those are the two small workshops there, and believe it or not, we have a tech company under that tarp there, the white tarp. I'll just sort of cycle in on it. They do some tech prototyping here, and I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff stored on top of the various structures that we've been building here. Okay, so we're going to go back outside, and I better not fall down the stairs. That'll ruin my tour here. And I don't do really fancy videos. I get that. They are what they are, right? I do one shot. I very rarely repeat, and I do my best. It's kind of a teaching video. All right, so now here we are. I'll take you over. I think we got a boat ramp over here, and I'll show you. I hope the boat ramp hasn't completely overgrown. This year, we're having the most amazing summer. This is Ottawa, Canada. It's a northern shelf city. It's pretty cold most of the year, but this year, very, very hot summer. In fact, we're hotter today and yesterday than Miami. So at least summers are quite warm. So believe it or not, there's a boat ramp here that is now overgrown. And you can see there's another pond that I dug. And we'll just show you a little bit closer. That building over there is my old summer office. So that's long since been sold. But in the summertime, we used to leave downtown and bring my key executives out here. And we would just, we would have a summer office there. And you can see some garages and other things that have been added in here. It was very pleasant. And have a cottage here, an old cottage here that has also been sold, and I'll show you that in a few more minutes. That building there that you look at was actually a sales office that we moved in pieces, mind you, but we moved it here as well and reassembled it. So we tend to reuse if we can. All right, let's see if we can walk over here. You'll see some other things here that are part of this. We have a fairly big parking lot here. Don't really need it, but you never really have enough space for all the things that you end up collecting over the years. You know, I believe in clean and neat and tidy, but you know, that's not always possible. Oh, look, here's the brother. Here he is. There's the other guy. Works for food, very friendly, good animals, but boy, they sure are good mousers. All right, how you doing, son? You gonna come say hi? Yeah, good boy. And okay, so let's go back over here. That's where Ovid first started. That's the overhead door that we saw from the other side. Okay, now we're gonna keep going here. You can never have enough storage. So we have a few storage containers here, and you can sort of see, I'm gonna go a little closer. You can sort of see that's unfortunately hasn't been cut yet, but that is the septic bed. It's quite extensive. It has to be for what we've done here. And then here's some storage containers that we built on site, and some others here. These ones actually are quite they're complicated to build, but these ones, you know, even I could do that. These kind of snap together. They're pretty good containers. You can have them inside or outside. I think we have some inside as well. Now here's the very first tiny house that came to this site. It's owned by George and Brett. And oh, look, there's my buddy again. He's following me. Like some more attention. So this is George and Brett. And so George asked me if he could, you know, he had a workshop and could he live nearby? And he said he had a tiny house. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? So he brought it up here and he parks it here. And we'll just go around the other side. You'll see it a little bit more clearly here in a minute. But when he brought it here, this thing is a friggin' locomotive. I think it's like 54 feet long. And they needed, like, you know, those tow trucks that you need when you got the big semi-trailers you got to tow. Look at the size of this thing. It's got a loft there as well. It's quite nice inside. And anyway, so I don't know. That's what they brought. And it's been here for a while. And then we do have, in Teeny Tiny Town, we do have, you know, barbecues here. And it's not a very big community. You know, maybe there's 15 or 20 people here. It is part of a much bigger subdivision, but the actual community's on 12 acres, 2 or 3 blocks. And the actual little teeny tiny town is probably 15 or 20 people, including the workshops. And you can see that you can have a garden here. Things grow really well here. That's a shot of the back of the Barndominium. And again, if I don't trip and fall, if I do, I'll just pick up the camera and continue. So I apologize. I'm going to go across country here. And I'll show you the latest and greatest tiny home. If I can get through this tangle of stuff here and without tripping. 73-year-olds should be very careful in the forest. That's yours truly. So I'll show you this. So this is Ron and Michelle's place that we're going to see here in a minute. And they're actually adding on to it, if you can believe it. So you'll see the tiny home when I go around the front, but they're actually adding a 15 by 15 foot, so 225 square foot addition. That's going to be their new living room, I think, in the tiny home. And they're here on a long-term land lease. So, you know, they're parking here, I guess, but, you know, they've added some other things here too. You'll see a 3-season room here in a minute. And they have their own little driveway here. Hello, how are you? I'm just doing a short video. I'm just doing a teaching video, Ron. And if you want to show up in my video half nude, you're welcome. I'll see you in a sec. So So we put in, this is the old snowmobile trail. So we put in, you know, a good quality road here. It's obviously gravel, but it's got lots of big stuff, riprap underneath. It's been compacted, and they've got their own little entry here from the road. And I'm just going to swing around. And again, we like to name things. So this is called Tadpole House, because there's lots of ponds here and lots of tadpoles. And you can sort of see what we've done, or what Ron and Michelle have done. They bought this tiny house, which is really actually pretty big. I think it's 350 or 400 square feet. And again, it has a loft. Then they added the deck here and the and the 3-season room. And then they have a shed over there as well. And I think they're probably going to also add a garden next year. All right, so we're now at 25 minutes. We're getting close to the end, I promise. And look, we've got reserve parking. Reserve parking, really, that's it. And so most of the people here, maybe all of them, run their own businesses. Abed, obviously, Ron, Michelle, they run a landscaping business. And there's the Barndominium. I guess you can see it through the rooms there. There's Ron. Ron, you're on the video.
I'm good.
How nice to see you today.
Good to see you too.
This is a learning video, teaching video.
Okay.
So say hi.
Hi.
So Ron, you brought this thing here. It's beautiful what you've done here. Why did you decide to live tiny?
We decided to live tiny because of affordability, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, we don't need a big space. We love this square footage, and that's all we need.
Well, you love it so much that you had to add 225 square feet here.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, come over here so I can see you again, or the crowd can see you again. And so, yeah, it's 225 square feet, and that's going to be a family room?
Our living room, yeah.
A living room, okay.
Yeah.
And then you'll have your bedroom at grade here.
Yes.
Hi, Michelle. And then you have a loft for visitors or whatever.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And so you live tiny. It's affordability, also, I guess, lack of stress, right? Or less stress.
Yes, lack of stress.
Yeah, that's really great. And you know, what's your plan for the future once you've finished this? You got any other plans, or is this it?
This is it for now.
For now.
For now.
For
Yes.
now. All right. Listen, I'm going to finish my tour. I'm going to come back and say hi.
No problem.
All right, let's go. All right, so we're going to go back over here, and I have to go cross country again. I hope I don't face plant. Oh, I spoke too soon. It looks like we did cut the grass on the septic field, which is a good thing to do. You don't want trees growing on, you don't want grass growing on. You want it to breathe, right? You know what septic fields do, right? They dilute or diffuse, you know, obviously gray water, right? So this is a little easier traversing this way. So we've got a little path here. I guess Ron and Michelle have been taking care of this. And so this will take me back. And what I'm going to show you is the lake. And excuse me, remember I said that there's you know, quite a sandy area here. It's an old sand pit. Well, what we did was we got permission from the Ministry of Natural Resources to go down instead of out. And by that I mean we could excavate below the water table, sell the sand, so hopefully make some money doing that, sell the sand, and obviously leave behind a beautiful lake, which you're going to see again, you know, filled by underground springs. So we're going to walk over there, and I promise you this video will end. It's now half an hour, sorry about that. But I really like ponds. I really like creating my own waterfront. In this particular subdivision, there's probably about 70 homes here now, and they range from, you know, sort of a fairly low price point. Some of my former students have homes here, and all the way up to, you know, what we call the castle, which probably has a few $1 million. But in this particular subdivision, what we wanted to do, or what I wanted to do, I guess, is I wanted to make sure that the key thing was that we settled on the land gently and we treated the land with respect. So there's the covenants in the subdivision are environmental as opposed to, building covenants, minimum house sizes, materiality, et cetera. So we didn't want to just cater to the millionaire club. You could have some modest homes here, and of course there's some very expensive homes here too. But everybody has to conform to the environmental standards, which means you can't use herbicides, insecticides, fertilizers. You can't plant anything but natural Ontario vegetation. And even though the lots are anywhere from 2 acres to maybe 5 or 6 acres, so very big lots, it's poop and scoop. We wanted to protect, the quality of the land and the quality of the water. So that's what we've done. I'm just walking now towards something that is obviously it's a fire hydrant. You'll see here a little bit closer in a minute. But this is actually called a dry hydrant, and which means that there's no water in it. What happens here is that the hydrant goes down probably 10 feet, 3 or 4 meters, and then extends into the lake. And that's a really helpful thing, because in the rural areas, when you talk about firefighting, just go up a little bit here so you can see a bit more. When you talk about firefighting, they bring a certain amount of water with them, and they have a pumper truck, and then you put out the fire, you hope. But if you don't have, if the fire's not out by the time you've exhausted your water source, you're done. But because we have this dry hydrant, we have, obviously millions and millions and millions of gallons of water. So they hook up a pumper truck to this thing, and then they can come back and forth. So your insurance is a little bit less than it would otherwise be, because there's firefighting capacity here. And you can sort of see, I'll just sort of see if I can get it a little bit closer. You can see some of the bigger homes here. So they're not all modest homes. Many of them are quite lovely. And even the modest homes I like. And you can see over there, and I'm going to walk over there, and that will be the end of our video. There's an unexcavated portion of this lake, and we call that Windward Island. And, it's really actually a beautiful lake. Water is incredibly clear, largemouth bass in the lake here. We've got landing turtles, all kinds of wildlife here. And it's great for swimming, canoeing, kayaking, sailing. We don't allow any motorboats of any sort, not even electric ones, because there's a lot of plant growth in the lake, which provides food and shade for the fish and oxygen, obviously. So, no motorcraft of any sort. But anyway, there you go. So we're going to keep walking. And like I said, now we're almost finished this teaching video. So in this area, there's a plaza that I built, not very big, it's about 10,000 square feet. It's not far away, it's about 1 kilometer away. And I built a mini storage business, also about 1 kilometer away. And I've probably done 3 or 4 subdivisions here, a few hundred homes over the years. And again, they go from quite modest to quite luxurious. All right, so we're going to go down here. This is a swale, also known as a ditch. And you can see that we're trying to rewild some of the lands here. So I'll just pan around here. So a lot of this is new planting. And we're just going to walk along here. In a minute, you're going to see my old cottage. But before we get to my old cottage, I'm just going to pan around to my left in a second. And you can see that actually is one of the homes I built for one of my students. And if you can believe it, you go half a level up, you've got a 3-bedroom home. You can't really see from this distance, but if you go half a level down, you've got a 2-bedroom suite down there. So, my student could live upstairs with his girlfriend, now his wife, and he could have a rental below. And I quite like that idea. All right, so let's keep going. Now you can sort of see now the extraordinary effect that these white pines have had on the property. Look at that white pine, how beautiful it is. And as I said, it's one of the ways you can almost certainly add value. Yeah, we've got some guests here. These are Canada geese. And you may have noticed, probably not, but I'll mention it, that little pond that I started this video with didn't have any geese there. It's because we have 2 coyotes actually looking after that little pond. The the folks there didn't want all the goose poop, so the coyotes are fake. You know, you can buy them online, and but they scare the geese. So here at the lake, we put up with them, but in the little ponds, we use natural systems to to create a good space, good environment for everybody. All right, so here's this path that we maintain, and if we ever need to maintain the lake or the island, this has you can drive pickup trucks, loaders, dozers, whatever you need, even excavators, no problem. We can get them here. And you're going to see here in a minute, again on my left, you'll see my old cottage, which is now owned by a man his first name is Gary, and he's done a wonderful job with it. He's bought in, as most of the people here bought into the environmental covenants of the place, and you can see he's rewilding everything. Now this fence is almost certainly to keep the geese out of his yard, and I'll just go a little closer so you can see more here. Oh my gosh, we're almost at 40 minutes. Geez, I better get this done. So this is the old cottage here, and you can see there's a detached garage over there. Maybe I go a little closer and I'll just show you this. And again, this was a building that was another sales trailer on a subdivision that we were doing that was moved here, and it's obviously been upgraded and expanded significantly. All right, now we're gonna see a little bit more of the lake. It's got a beautiful sandy beach here. This is Gary's, and we still own Windward Island, my family and I. So we have a very nice beach here, and a very gentle slope. So lots of my grandchildren can come here and enjoy the swimming and the adventure of whatever the candidate can give them for about 3 months or 3.5 months of summer. That's about all we get. I was asking one of my clients in Miami how long their summer was. He said, "Oh, I don't know, about 10.5 months." I went, "Oh my gosh, we get 113 days of summer in Ottawa." In Southern Ontario, they get more, about 122, I think, but nothing like 10.5 months that you would get in Miami. But our summers are pretty hot. Now I'll show you a couple things. So this is Windward Island, as I said, an unexcavated portion. It was done intentionally. I mean, if we ever wanted, we could dig it up and sell the sand, but we're never going to do that, obviously. This is a pretty special place, and we'd like to do it. I'll admit something here, too, on the video. If it was legal, I'd be right here. This has been in my family, this land, which I've added to since I think either 1954 or 1956, so a long time. So this is, so this is the, I guess this is west here. We're facing west here. And you'll notice as well, see if I can go a little closer without falling in here. You'll notice there's some large rocks, boulders really. And I'll just go closer over here, give you a shot of these. So when we were excavating this lake, which took, by the way, 17 years to do, we noticed we'd be going through these beautiful, beautiful piles of sand, just beautiful washed sand. It's perfect for golf courses, cable laying, you name it, septic systems. It's really great. And there's the house that we call the castle. So you can see there's homes of all different shapes and sizes. I'll pan around one more time. Over here's another one here. This one, believe it or not, this gentleman here has a house. I don't know what it's worth, but a few million anyway. And he raises chickens. You know how I know? It's because I can hear his roosters crowing. So anyway, coming back to these boulders, every once in a while, as we're digging down, we found these boulders, and we said, "What the heck? Where do these boulders come from? 30 feet down in a uniform layer of sand." And it turns out they fell from the sky, because about 10,000 years ago, there was, I think, 1 or 2 kilometers of ice here during the last ice age. and ice moves and it collects all kinds of debris, and some of these boulders were forced up into the they could have been 500 meters up. And then the sun warmed the planet for some reason. The rays penetrate the ice, warms up the surface of the earth. These glaciers melt from the bottom up, and so it gets up maybe 500 meters high, and it melts the ice around these boulders, and then they plunk down from 500 meters or 600 meters, whatever, and they bury themselves in 30 feet of liquidly sand and water. And 10,000 years later, Firestone, kind of digs them up. And you'll also notice that they were on the edge of this island, which again is called Windward Island, protecting it from, believe it or not, you can actually get whitecaps on this. This is about a 22-acre lake. You can actually get whitecaps, and so we were getting a significant amount of erosion. So one of the things that we did, guess what? We planted more trees. I'll back up here. Because the boulders did some work in terms of protecting the island from erosion, but still the best way of protecting your land is obviously with trees and grass and what have you, so the natural elements. So I think that's about it. It was 41 minutes, and if you stuck right through to the end, I really appreciate it. Thank you.